everybody, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. I'm here to share a steampunk industrial card with you guys. It's a style that I absolutely adore, but I don't end up doing it very often. So this is really special, and I wanted to create a card. It's a masculine card, and I wanted to create this card for a friend who's going through a big transition in his life. And I want to reassure him that I think he's doing the right thing and that I'm thinking about him. So I made this card especially for him, and let me go ahead and share with you guys all the products that I used. The whole card was inspired by this Caramel Studio. The heart has its reasons, and I just love this steampunk illustration. And I ended up using this main image as well as this image here. This is a stamp set available at Top Flight Stamps, and this is a design team project that I've made for them. I also used this Diamond Dies Gears, Steampunk Gears die set, and I think this is just so versatile for anything kind of masculine or industrial or steampunk. She also has a big set like this, which is great for huge cards, or kind of mini albums, that sort of thing. But I use this set here to create the kind of accent pieces that are these gears in the background. So let me tell you guys, I'll start from the bottom up in terms of layering. I have this little piece here that's peeking out from behind. It's watercolor paper that I use fluid acrylic mediums on. It's by Deco Arts, and it's a really thick weight acrylic paint, and I just swirled it around. You barely see it, but you kind of can see the variations in color on this background piece. And I wanted to just add a little bit of brightness and to kind of echo some of the colors that I used when I was Copic coloring this image here. The next level up is this textured, you can see there's kind of like a high gloss finish to this pattern paper. It's a pattern paper that has an illustration or a picture of old rusted keys, clockwork parts, you know, just kind of a really heavy industrial look. And I've had this in my scrap box for years. I mean, literally years. So I cut that down and put that as a background layering piece. Then this piece here, I cut into a bit of a banner shape. It's corrugated cardstock that was a craft color, but I wanted to be a richer tone that looked like it had kind of been painted, you know, like numerous times over the years. So I used this Deco Art Shimmer Mister in turquoise. I also used some acrylic paints that I had in my stash. This is just a plain black, and this is a putty color. And I just dry brushed it on. And there's a little bit of a shimmer that you can see. You can really see the texture of this corrugated cardstock. I really like how that gives a lot of texture and visual weight to this background and gives it a real industrial look. It almost looks metallic. And then next, as you can see, I added these gears that I die cut out with this Steampunk Gears die set. I just cut it out of 100-pound heavyweight black cardstock, and then I inked it. I blended on some Delicata Golden Glitz to give it a more metallic and shimmery look on those little gears. And then for this image, I stamped it out, and then I Copic colored it, and then I fussy cut it. You know, it's a lot of painstaking, really detailed fussy cutting, and then I popped up the whole thing on fun foam just to give it added dimension. I also added some glossy accents, the Ranger glossy accents, to add some shine to some of the areas of this image, especially the glass area and some of the little riveted areas. I like the high gloss that is repeated from this background paper, and it also gives it some visual texture, this shiny glossiness to this image that I think helps add some interest. And then on the inside, I stamped out this other image from the stamp set right here. I also matted it with more of that fluid acrylic painted watercolor paper, just so I could replicate the matting that I did here. And then for this sentiment, which I thought was perfect for my friend, I printed this out on my computer. I went on Microsoft Word, and I'll lay in all the details of how to do this, but basically I took a circle shape and typed in this text to fill it, like word art almost, but I used a text effect function in Microsoft Word so that it would look like the words were kind of following the curve of this water droplet. And this says, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. So I hope that this card will be uplifting for my friend, and I'll attach here the Copic coloring video so you can see how I colored this up. So I've stamped out the image with Memento Tuxedo Black ink, which is my favorite alcohol safe ink. And I've decided to use a handful of different colors that are kind of more secondary colors. They're not like primary colors. They have more of a jewel tone quality to them, but they're also a little bit darker, a little more grungy overall. And I didn't want to make this really dark, so I am starting with a couple of yellows. I'm starting with a Y00, which is kind of a light, pale yellow, a barium yellow, and then also a Y15. And then I'm making it a little bit richer, warmer with this YR color. This YR color, by the way, is one that I reach for all the time. It's a pale sepia, and I like that kind of warm, kind of more vintagey undertone to this yellow to make it a little more golden looking. So I'm going back and forth, blending it out. I wanted to keep the lightest colors in the highlighted areas, especially on that bulb, but also bring in the warm golden color as well. And I'm making sure that in this image, there's so many parts or components to this image that I wanted to repeat the color a few times. So I started with that bulb at the beginning and then over in this corrugated area on the right. And then I'm gonna also do the crank area at the bottom in this golden color. So next I'm gonna move on to the kind of yellow-green color. It's kind of gonna read more khaki. So I'm starting with a YG 95, 97, and 99 combo. I'm starting first with the lightest, the YG 95. Then I'm going to the darkest, and I'm hitting all of those areas that look like they could be divots in the image with that darkest color. I'm also gonna shade in the areas that I think are gonna have a cast shadow from another metal piece that I think would be over top. And then I'm blending the two areas together with a YG 97. So I'm bridging the two colors, the lightest and the darkest, with that middle tone. And I'm not really worried too much about flicking or anything like that. I'm just trying to make a good, smooth blend. And here I'm reestablishing the darkest areas where I think there might be cast shadows or in those little divots in that plate toward the top there. Next, I'm going to switch to the blue-greens. Even though the marker color, the color on the marker itself looks a little bit darker, the BG13 is in fact lighter than the BG15, and then certainly both are lighter than the BG18. And I wanted to create kind of the look of this teal or aqua that sometimes copper turns to when it's patinaed. I think it's a traditional color used, it's a bright color, but it's a traditional color used in a lot of steampunk. So I wanted that curve over the top on the left side of the heart. I also thought it would carry nicely over to that connection for the crank. And then also for the little handles on the right, I thought this jewel toned color would be great to use on these little accent areas on this image. And I'm blending again from the lightest to the darkest, and then I'm blending the two together with that medium BG15 tone. The image has so many details in it that it doesn't take a lot of blending. Now I'm gonna try to color up a couple of areas in blue colors, and you see all of the blues that I am gonna use on the left there. And I'm using a lot more of the blues, first of all, because it's my favorite color, but also because I want to have two different tones. So you see this part of the image that I'm coloring now has vertical areas. And unlike the golden area, which I wanted all to be kind of one tone, for the blue areas, I wanted to have some contrast. I wanted some lighter stripes and some darker stripes.
So I'm kind of segmenting off the blue markers that I'm using into two families. So some starting with the lighter colors and then some going all the way to the darkest colors to create this tone on tone look, but to get some good contrast going in as well with the darkest colors. And I'm coloring the areas with this darkest marker where I think the cast shadows would be at the top, underneath that little curved part of the heart, at the base, also on the outside of this, what looks like a wheel, but maybe like a clock face. It's unclear to me. But I'm going back in next with that lighter blue, the B97, slightly lighter, to just not have it be a solid dark color and to give more kind of visual 3D. And then I decide for that middle area also I wanted to bring in that darker blue tone. So I'm going back in for that middle section as well. And I'm going back and forth with blending so that I can make the lighter stripes also have some color tones. So I have all the way from a B52. The next color up in saturation is the B93. And I'm also deciding that I'm gonna add this blue color to that turn or crank at the top of the handle at the top of the hearts there. Basically, I want to repeat each color at least 3 times, and I don't want the same color right up against adjacent to another section of the same color. So I'm trying to add the colors, repeat them, and also not have them directly up adjacent to the same color in the next part of the image. There's lots of components to this image. I love that about steampunk images, and this mechanical look is so interesting. So I want to bring in one more color, and you'll see that it starts looking a little bit pink, which is fine for a heart, but I'm gonna add in some burgundy tones as well. Unfortunately, the video cuts off here, but you can see the finished product here. I had so much fun creating this steampunk industrial card. I hope you've enjoyed this short process video. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I hope you guys are having a wonderful crafty day.